TNGTC sprint race. We finished round one just a few minutes ago, and apparently there was neither of our voices on the stream, so we sincerely apologise about that. We've just talked over something for about an hour for nothing, but we promise you we did pretty well, and yeah, the race was ebbed and flowed a lot with early sprints from Rob and hits from Edu, and then pack sort of sorted itself out after the pit stops until Papano had a late spin, tried to rejoin to the track but wiped out Paul and nearly took Benji and Jamie with him. So since you never heard me say it in the first stream, I am joined for this one by Jordan, who does the Next Gen Geneta streams.
Good evening, everyone. For round two, yeah, interesting race really for race one, especially that last lap. Completely changed the result from third to seventh area, so and the sprint is going to be even more chaotic, in my opinion.
Yeah, of course, you're looking at the likes of probably Paul and Papano and Rob as the favourites to take pole and even potentially win this race, as they were up there in the sprint, but errors and strategic mishaps cost them late on in the race.
We've also got a 10-minute qualifying here for round number 2. Paul, very unlucky in the first round with the Papano incident.
He was the main victim of that one, completely T-boning into Papano and having to limp round the last lap. He would have been unhappy with that, as he was running in a very solid 5th place. No, he was 6th actually. He was behind Benji, my apologies. 5th was Benji, 3rd was 4th was Nathan until Papano spun.
Frank there. I'll be happy to know he'll be starting higher than 12th position.
The worst he can physically do is 11th, so it'll be an improvement.
All 16 drivers back in. Driver deciding to go autobahn speeds into the pit lane and disqualified.
Yeah,
not on purpose, just going in a bit too quickly.
Yeah, we lost Rob, Edu and Adam Marks all through that same error, which I'm sure they will learn and take with them to Kota next week.
There is Papano, who's on for a 3rd place and potentially a 2nd, as Paul goes in with a 1:43.0, which is a fantastic, good first lap there, I would say.
Yeah, a 43.0 is a good, solid banker, if anything. You'd expect the likes of Papano and Rob to beat that, but I'm sure Paul himself will also improve as the next 6 minutes go on.
Papano's first lap then. He's doing a 1:43.9, so a bit of work to be done there.
Of course, the sprint race is an hour later than the feature race, so track temperatures and grip sometimes can change a tiny bit, not change at all, or completely mess your car's balance.
So we have a look at some other players, Seb. In that BMW, number 45.
Yeah, of course, he's got big shoes to fill with that car. Gaz's championship winning car from last season. So as we stand at the moment, I'm not quite sure who's on pole. That's either Robert or Rob Noxious. I would guess Rob Noxious. Seb's about to cross the line. It's ninth with a 44.6. A good lap for him there. Takes him off the bottom.
Robert in the Audi there in 7th place, only 1.2. Oh, he was only 1.2. Until this man put in a 142.3.
Yeah, Papano probably the favourite, you would say, for pole.
You'd like to think that maybe Ben has a chance here to put an upset with that Porsche.
Yeah, Ben likes to adjust his car between sessions, so hopefully he may have found something in the setup that can put him on. You would at least hope the front row, because his feature race performance was a bit lackluster. Of course, the last couple of seasons he's made car changes that have given him qualifying bans, so actually driving a car in qualifying is probably something he's going to have to get used to again after not doing it for about 2 seasons.
Adam Marks there. Sergeant Bassett in the Ferrari. Russell Schmidt Peterson Racing in Ferrari in the colour scheme. It's over around the boot and up towards the hill. Another lap for himself. It's interesting really because Frank isn't that far away from Seb in that battle for 9th place on the grid.
No, there's only 800ths as that's Adam Marks' lap thrown away, but 800ths could gain him 2 positions, which puts him into the points places. I'm sure he'd like to take a couple of points as Papano was stopped on the track there.
A practice start ready. Although I must admit, I don't think doing it there is going to help him very much. He's going to have to do one up the hill instead.
Yeah, I wonder if he was just waiting for Adam Marks to go by, but just doing it in a very unique fashion.
Yeah, I would say that's not a great way to start your lap from a standing still start before the final corner. You don't get the same sort of momentum on the way out.
No, and of course, you only get... I presume this is his first lap of this run, so you want to use all of the momentum around your outlap to try and get as much heat as you can into the tyres, as if you don't go flat out or at a decent pace you lose a bit of temperature and you're going to be compromised for the first couple of corners.
Yeah, Rob here in the Philstein Mercedes number 9. Disqualifying in the first race for entering the pits slightly too quickly. Wasn't having a great race anyway. A couple of spins, one at the inner chicane and one for avoiding action in the S's.
She jumped up to second there, less than a tenth behind Papano. She's really got that Mercedes working.
Yeah, him and Dean have made good progress with the setup on that, I think, around here. It's an intriguing car. I remember driving it on Project Cars 1. It was quite nice when we actually driving that. So, see that train looking like it might be continuing via the updates in patches through Project Cars 2.
As it looks like he's backed out of this lap.
And that'll be his qualifying over with only 15 seconds left on the clock. I would suggest he just caught the inside curb here, which could make the back end a bit loose before you head to the chute.
Seeks is doing a good job up in 5th place. Of course, he's almost a second off of 4th place, but I'm sure he will take 5th place.
Coming up towards the hill then. And number 12, first gas to Audi. There's Pano ahead of him.
Yep, Pano, who's actually extended his gap to pole, is he? No. Thought he had for a second.
He's 4/10 over Rob, so he's definitely put in a faster lap.
Oh, he's not going to do a faster one doing that.
Doka goes up into 5th place as Seeks is in the wall. So Doka nicks it into the top 5 for the qualifying
Ben puts
session.
it third, right at the death.
Very, very tight in that battle for second there. Just under 3/10 of a second. Frank, the only man left on the track to get a lap time in his final run of qualifying laps. Only 7/10 of we do. Across the line, can he improve on his time? The answer is no, he stays 11th on that 1:44.7.
Of course, Jamie will be the first of all the front runners to try and carve through this pack of people who have been allowed to qualify, unless Nathan can jump him off the start. And being first to carve your way through is not always the best position to be in, but on a very rare occasion it is massively beneficial.
So then, qualifying for the sprint race here at Watkins Glen has Papano taking pole position and a point, followed by Rob, Ben Milden, Paul, Doko, Seeks, Robert, Edu, Seb is in 9th, Adam Marks is 10th, Frank Finch the last of the qualifiers in 11th, with Jamie, Nathan, Adam, Dean and Benji the last people to be on the grid due to having a wonderful top 5 positions, as we now wait for everyone to ready up for the start of this race. 12 lap sprint race, no pit stop required, just a flat out blast, and I think Rob has got a very good chance here of getting off the line and potentially in front of Papano here in that Mercedes.
Yeah, the BMW, not the greatest car off the line, it's not terrible, but Rob will be sitting thinking he can take the lead of this one and just hopefully not do what he did in that first race.
It's incredible just how much of a hill that is up to the start line. You don't really realise it when you drive, just how big a hill that is.
When you drive it feels flat, but looking here it's a bit of a slope. Of course it's uphill before it goes down, but
yeah, it's no wonder why you tend to break it around the 300 to 400 metre mark here.
Yeah, it's a very early braking zone for turn 1. Of course it's a very sharp 90-degree right with you'll be carrying a good bit of speed down the hill. And you can't even attack that inside kerb, as that will really unsettle the car, so you've got to take an even wider line through the apex.
Well, normally if you're on your own, I mean, I'd personally be hitting the brakes early and trying to get into the groove, because as you come down to it, there's a slight bit of camber on the inside. If you can hook the front right wheel into it, it will straighten the car up and lovely for the exit. But obviously if you're side by side, you don't have that option.
Yeah, as we get synced up.
3 red lights to come. There's 1, 2, there's number 3, and we're green again at Watkins Glen for the sprint race here at TNGTC. Pano gets off the line well. Rob can't do anything about it. He's going to be careful with Ben behind him. There's Paul. And a bit of movement. Seeks is now down to 8th place off the line. Not a brilliant start from the Audi man. That is Jamie in the background and side by side with Frank up the edges. That's a fantastic move to be pulled off up into 10th. Back with the leaders and Rob contact with Paparo into the inner loop chicane.
Yeah, as that's also Frank round.
Frank has a consolation spin there for Papano, but that will be looked at, I would have thought.
Yeah, you feel Pano won't be happy with that one, as there's...
Others, that's Jamie, Edu, Doka, Adam
and
Marks.
Seeks.
All having action there. I don't know what happened, but obviously I'm guessing I'm going to take a punt that someone spun in front of someone else. And it's caused a bit of a pile up, but that's not going to help Jamie after finishing in the top 5 back.
Yeah, you feel it might, if it was someone who spun, it probably was Edu, as he was the furthest ahead.
Oh, that's an interesting...
Yeah, Doko's doing it very interestingly.
I think Doko's got big suspension damage as he
collects Jamie in it all.
I think that's Doko out. Yes, it is.
And I expect we'll see a couple of pit stops from these guys at the back. Jamie for sure.
I guess the only benefit is Jamie's car is slightly lighter than he used to be.
Yeah, he's got 80% of his Ferrari left. It even looks like it's a little bit shorter than normal.
He's on his Ferrari Compact GT3 there.
Yeah, as I expected, he comes into the pits. Frank doesn't need to as he's spun on his own, but well, Seeks and Edu pit. Seeks looks like he will.
Yeah, Seeks will need to do that. It's got suspension damage.
Oh.
Edu's gone around. Edu no longer has a rear wing.
Yeah, nor a bonnet. So you feel for this 3 you've gone into the pits, points are going to be nigh on impossible. Unless something crazy happens up the front.
Something has happened up the front whilst we're focusing on the recovering guys. Rob has made a mistake somewhere. He's held down into 4th with that Mercedes. That means Ben Milden takes the lead of race number 2.
This would be
number 3.
Amazing result if Ben could win. He's not won a race in nearly 4 seasons, but he's got a probably just as hungry Paul, who's never won a race, right behind him, so I'm sure both of these want it just as much as the other.
I think Paul would definitely be a bit more fired up after race number 1. A bit wide that from Robert in the background, and more stuff happening in the background here. A bit of a train now behind Rob in that Mercedes. Oh, a bit of contact there between Adam Ice and Nathan.
That's allowed Dean past Adam.
Dean, now the second place man of the 5 who didn't qualify. And that looks like Nathan just had a run, still does have a run, just about on the inside. That'll go up into 4th place for the Porsche man. A bit of a spin, I think that was for Benji there in the Audi.
Yeah, something certainly happened.
Big damage in the front. Seb goes on the grass there. Not the ideal run through there, but...
Now the Falcon Fast GT drivers will be looking at this thinking they could get a brilliant result out of this if Ben can just keep it on the track and Nathan can make up a couple more places.
Oh, contact into the inner loop again. This time between Benji and Seb. I think Benji has damage on that thing. It looked like the car jerked a bit to the right.
Yeah, it seemed like either it was due to the damage or he didn't realise that Seb was there because he seemed to just turn in on him in a little.
Rob continuing to lose places now. He's now behind Adam Morris and Ian. Good start here from Robert. G plus 1 up. In that Hot Wheels Audi. Up to clean. Running in the podium places.
Yeah, that's quite often what you need in these sprints, just keep it clean, keep out of all the action, and as you see with the likes of Nathan and Robert, it can just, you can gain through without being aggressive, just keep out of it all.
Ben still leading, we're now down to 13 cars. Although Edu has retired.
So has Doko.
Yep. You got Doko, you got Doko, you have Edu. Who's the third man to retire?
As Benji's pitting, he's obviously had too much damage to try and continue.
Yeah, that
So-
front end is a little bit squished.
So maybe that was his instant down at turn 1, or maybe he ran wide because of damage and just decided it wasn't worth continuing.
Nathan, currently in 4th.
So 1.2 seconds quicker than Robert ahead, but of course he's going to have to watch it for Dean as well.
And Dean was a bit slower on that last lap. On board with Dean, obviously race 1 winner. Head up through boots, up towards the hill. We'll see what line Dean takes from here.
It seems the third driver to have quit the race was Papano, of course our pole setter.
Yes. Contact they had with Mercedes.
So maybe Papano might be in the stewards twice, once being reported and once taking someone to them.
So it wouldn't surprise me if that incident is the reason why Rob has lost that much position, because the damage to the car as Dino heads into the wall at the final turn.
Of course Adam might have a look at him now.
Instantly defending. Having go around the outside maybe? No.
Just going to tuck in, try and carry some momentum up the hill.
He looked for a switchback, but Dean was a very clever man. Parked it on the apex, make sure there's no room. I think that Mercedes is quicker in a straight line as long as the aero damage hasn't affected the top end too much.
Of course Nathan will have appreciated it, it'll have given him breathing room.
In the front though, Paul still trying to chase down Ben. But these two just running away at the moment.
Of course after many seasons of racing with Ben, he is not easy to crack. You can sit behind him as much as you want, as close as you want, he will not crack under the pressure. You need to try and force the issue with him.
Well, I think with Ben you have to be pretty much a tenth or less, literally eating the bumper before he brakes, normally.
Yeah, we've had Papano confirm to us he had suspension damage from the crash with Rob, so that's probably why he's out of this race. So I'm sure after only one steward's inquiry the whole of last season, we will get a few more this season, and that one inquiry was against the man we're watching right now, Robert, for blocking in qualifying, but I feel we're going to get a bit more this season.
It seems like with the pack as tight as it is, incidents are pretty much inevitable this season.
Rob must have some lasting damage on his car, as he is a lot slower than the cars in front of him, and he's even a second slower than Seb behind him.
Interestingly though, Paul was 2/10 quicker than Ben on that last lap. But
Yeah.
that gap not really changing at the moment.
Will Paul change his approach from the feature race? He was very lenient with Benji, didn't try anything extreme. Will he try something a bit more rash now that there is a win on the line? As it actually looked like the front runners were coming up to lap a car.
I think that might be Jamie.
Jamie's up. It's Seeks. Only a couple of seconds up the road from the top two. Have to make sure he doesn't get in the way of them.
That's an impressive effort from the Ferrari guys to repair that damage on Jamie's car.
Yeah. Oh, they might have a bit more to repair shortly. If that's not knocked his suspension at all, he'll be lucky.
because he goes square, maybe not as much damage as usual.
Yeah, of course, side on into stuff doesn't really affect you, but he was quite square, but he did go in first with the front right corner, so be 50-50 as to whether he's gotten away with it.
Robert here is going to have some issues with Nathan coming up behind him.
Nathan has been consistently a second quicker since getting up behind Rob, so he'll hope to make use of that pace advantage and use his very fast and a straight Porsche.
And the biggest thing here for Nathan is actually to make sure he gets past, because Dean is running faster than him at the moment by 2/10 on that last lap.
Of course, Dean will bring Adam with him if he does close up to Nathan.
And the last thing Nathan wants is to be trying to back and defend at the same time.
Whereas Adam marks 9th, Frank 10th, both on for points at the moment, which I'm sure they'll be happy with coming into this round. So unless Benji goes on a major charge, he was 3 seconds quicker than Frank last lap. If he can keep that consistent pace up, he'll be right on him as they enter the last lap.
Bit wide there from Frank in the chicane, but held it. It must have been a bit of a spin for Adam Marks, because he got 151.2 on the last lap.
And the front left corner of his Ferrari is damaged. I don't know if that's still lasting from the lap 1 instant, or is that something recent, but Frank is closing in.
Just been the most airtime Frank's had on tonight's streams so far. Going forward with the Audi man, as he has a look at Hill, that is going to be an incredible, that's a Danny Rick move there.
He even cuts off the exit to make sure Adam Marks doesn't try anything back at him.
Bit of a lunge, but makes it stick, and that's a brilliant move from Frank Finch up into 9th place with the Audi.
Of course, now the important thing that Frank has done is he has put a car between himself and Benji. So if Benji is going to catch up to Frank, he's going to have to get past that Ferrari first.
Now, it's interesting because I think Adam Marks will not hit him. I think he does have damage, as his lap time shows there.
Yeah, another 151.
183 from Frank and 153 from Adam. So, but I think he'll try and stay out to make sure he attempts to stay in front of Benji, because if he goes in the pits, he will not keep those points.
Yeah, he's got nothing to lose by staying out, but he has it all to lose if he pits.
Paul there just making a mistake, I think, 1.5 seconds off of Ben.
It looks like Nathan is all over the back of Robert again. 1/10.
And I'm not being funny, but Dean is only 6/10 behind that. Nathan needs to get a move done now.
This is the critical point where Nathan needs to get past Robert, and he's going to have a look into turn 1. He's going to try and go all the way around the outside. Is he going to hold that? Is he going to get squeezed out? They're still side by side, I think.
Come up to the S's. This is brave stuff from Robert. He's going to try it. Bit of contact through the right-hander. Into the wall, I think, for Robert. Just glancing it just about, but now Dean's got the opportunity to get past Nathan. That is...
More door banging.
Oh, and that is contact into the inner loop.
It looks like Dean tried to cut to the inside while Nathan was still there.
That's,
Of course, a lot of these drivers talk things out after the race, so whether Nathan and Dean can sort this between themselves or the stewards are involved, they might be very busy this weekend.
Yeah, I think we're definitely not sticking with the one street and flying issue. But now Dean had the same issue. He's got to get past Robert as quick as possible, because now Adam is there in the Audi.
Just gotta wonder though, did Nathan get any damage from hitting that inside wall? It doesn't look like he has been at the moment, but he may have just got an ever slight bit.
Well, I thought Dean would have had a bit of damage as well for collecting into Nathan. Bit of a sandwich really for Nathan. He'd have got plenty of damage on the left and right hand side.
Yeah, it looked like Dean thought he was maybe clear and Nathan tried to move right, but obviously he was still ever just slightly alongside and hit Nathan and forced him into the wall.
Oh, that's Dean in the wall, and that is big damage.
Yeah, that is a lot of damage. That's race ending. He is our race 1 winner, is out of the race, and Nathan's probably, much like Alonso in Italy, thinking karma.
At this rate, front of 8 here, and Benji now in the points.
Yeah, I wonder if something else has happened to Jamie, because he's back in the pits. I wonder if he's crashed it again, or whether he's trying to get a new fresh set on, or see if he can try and get fastest lap at any chance, try and get an extra point.
There's Benji, he's gradually creeping up on Adam Marks here.
Yeah, this is very good from Benji, considering about 3 laps ago he was 12 seconds behind.
That's very wide from Adam as well.
Yeah, and he's passed him.
I think that was more of a let through there. I don't think Adam really wanted to try and battle him. I think he's got too much damage.
Yeah, there's now 6 seconds between Benji and Frank, and there was 3.5 seconds difference last lap, so it's doable for Benji. He can get 8th off of Frank here.
I must admit, that was pretty smart from Adam Marks there, letting let Benji go, don't lose any time, because he's still got 40 seconds over seats, which he won't lose that. So he's still in the points there.
No, he could potentially have lost it though if he tried to fight Benji, and of course if he does have any suspension damage and the car's grabbing, it's very hard to go side by side with people.
Audi battle here for the final place on the podium.
As you wonder if Nathan does actually have damage, because he's dropped off of this pack and he is about 7/10 slower than Adam. As they've got Seeks, who pulls off the track very nicely to get out of all their ways.
This is top from Adam Morris, so probably not quite what he sees due to the field of vision differences, but roughly this is what we get.
Yeah, of course, a lap and a half left. He's really going to start ramping up his attack on Robert, as he'll want a double podium finish, because with Dean out of this race, a good result. Well, even the 4th place he's in right now will put him in the lead of the championship.
Roy looks for the switchback, but again, Robert parking the bus on the apex, which is perfectly legal. Adam March is trying a different line, bringing the power a bit earlier, try and get a better run. Right to the 300. Gets in the groove, that's the groove on about that. See the front end is pulled around quite nicely. Up through the S as we come. Here on the final lap of the race. That's wide, that's the wall.
I was about to say if he can keep it flat, he can maybe try it at Robert, but of course keeping it flat in a car slipstream up the S's is not easy.
But could that have ruined the chance for Adam Morris on this lap? They did get a good run through in a loop, but Robert just about squeezes him out there.
Yeah, Adam maybe could have played that smarter, maybe backed out of the right-hander and kept himself close for an attack into this left-hander, but still got another 5 or 6 corners to try it in.
Oh, that's Robert. Big twitch and almost in the wall. And now contact between the two Audis through tow. Robert just about holds on right now to come up to heel. I really want to stay with this battle, but I think eventually we're going to have to peel off. That's around the outside. That's a fantastic move from Adam Morris.
As Sergeant Bassett has pitted for some reason. So he might lose his point to Seeks. So you wonder why he's done that.
I think he wants to get behind Ben here, who's going to come through for the race to win.
And Ben, for the first time since Season 4, has won a race.
All there with this lovely second place after the disappointment from race 1. Adam Morris comes home third for a double podium. Robert just about sneaks fourth away from Nathan. Seeks there comes home in 11th. Robin the Mercedes. Comes through and over the line in 6th after a bit of contact with the planet. There's Seb, who wasn't far away in the end from nabbing 6th. Benji has overtaken Frank for 8th.
Yeah, that's a good recovery drive from Benji. I feel though he will come back from Watkins Glen feeling he could have done a lot better at this event.
You have to think you can't be massively disappointed at top 5 finish and a good recovery drive with precious points there in 8th place for the championship. And Frank comes home 9th for his first points of the season. Brilliant drive from Frank, avoiding everyone else apart from one spin at the inner loop chicane.
Yeah, as Seeks has decided to wreck his car like a lot of drivers do in the cooldown lap.
And there's Jamie.
Donuts and crashes are quite common in this league in the cooldown.
And that's the end of race number 2. So, Ben Milden wins race number 2 here at Watkins Glen, followed by Paul, Adam Morris, Robert, Nathan, Rob, Seb, Benji, Frank in 9th, Adam Marks is 10th, Jonathan Seekins is 11th, Jamie is 12th, Dean, the first man there on the list with retirement, followed by Pano, Edu, and Doka.
Yeah, Benji getting fastest lap, so an extra point for him.
Yeah, no one in 42s that race. Brilliant night's racing, really. I mean, Liam, who would you say was your driver of the night between the 2 races?
Oh, well, I feel if he hadn't made mistakes, it would have been Papano. But based on them getting 2 very good results out of this, I'm going to have to give it to Adam.
It's interesting. I'm going to give it to Paul, to be honest. I mean, I know he had that unfortunate incident in race 1, but he would have finished really high up along and second place in race 2. You can't fault that sort of drive. So no, it's got to be him.
He'll be very unhappy about what happened at the end of the feature, but I feel that sprint race, he'll feel a little bit of that he didn't get the win, but I'm sure he'll be happy with second, and I believe that may be his first ever podium.
Definitely a cracking night racing here at TNGTC.
Yeah, so we thank you all for watching, and we will be back in a week's time for rounds 3 and 4 from Circuit of the Americas, where hopefully we can get just a good of night of racing like this, and hopefully you'll be able to hear us in that feature race. We'll make sure of that, don't you worry, and we will see you all in a week's time.